Relationships can be really challenging sometimes. We go into them with the best of intentions, but even so, we know that half of the marriages don't last the test of time. So would you like to know how to measure your relationship? How to look at any relationship that you have and know whether or not it has what it takes to survive? This could be a romantic relationship. It could be a business relationship or just a friendship. It all applies. Would you like to have a tool and a method by which you can easily and effectively turn around a relationship that's just not working for you at the moment? Well, that's what I'd like to offer you in this episode. Now, what makes me such an expert? Half a century of lived experience? But more so, I'd like to share with you the research findings from Gottman Institute. Gottman Institute is a social science organization that has studied interactions between people for decades. And they've come up with this really simplistic method for measuring the success and the successful outcome probability of a relationship. And they claim that by just simply observing a couple of people for a few minutes, they can predict accurately whether or not those two are going to have a flourishing relationship that lasts the test of time. And they say that their findings are extremely accurate, and they can determine this with a high degree of probability. And it's super easy to do. It's all about emotional bids. Now, we ask for emotional bids many times a day, almost every time when we have an interaction with somebody else. Well, let me give you an example. Let's say it's Monday morning. I walk into work. I see my coworker, and I say, "Hey, good morning." Now, my coworker can respond to me in a number of different ways. Maybe they don't respond at all. They don't look at me, they don't say anything, and they just continue doing whatever it is they're doing. But I know that they heard me. And so that is a response, and it's not a very good one. So how does that make me feel? Well, it makes me feel a little disrespected. So my baseline emotional level when I came in is here, and after they did that, it's going to go down just a little bit. It's not going to make me feel any better. I'm probably going to feel a little worse when they behave that way. Now, my coworker could also turn around and go, "Yeah, what's good about it?" Ouch. That's not a very positive response either. And that's not going to make me feel any better. So again, that's a negative reaction that's going to bring me down a little bit. Or on the other hand, they could turn around and go, "Hey, morning, good to see you. How was your weekend?" That's a positive response, right? And that's going to make me feel a little bit better. And so when we have interactions with people, we can consider whether or not that interaction made us feel a little better or a little bit worse based on their reaction. Now, let me give you another example. You come in from the outside and see your partner and say, "Hey, I've got a surprise for you. Come check this out." They come over and you hand over a little box, and she opens up the box and looks at it, and it is a beautiful, perfect 3-carat diamond. And she goes, "Oh my God, that's fantastic. You're the best. Wow, I can't believe it." That's a big positive. Or she could look at it and go, "A diamond? You got me a diamond? You know I don't like diamonds. I like sapphires." You don't know me at all. Well, maybe we can exchange it for something nice." That would be a pretty big negative. You really stretched out there to get that big gift and wasn't very appreciated. Or on the other hand, maybe you come in with a few flowers that you just picked out of the front yard. You hand those over. And she could go, "Oh, wow, these are beautiful. Let me find something to put them in." It's a plus. Or she could say, "How many times have I told you not to kill the flowers in the yard? You never listen." Negative. Now, not as big of a plus or as big of a minus as having your expensive gift rejected, but in either case, it's either a positive or it's a negative. And that's all we need to count in this exercise. We just count the positive interactions and the negative interactions. And we don't worry so much about whether or not it's a big positive or a little positive or a big negative or a little negative. It's just a negative and it's just a positive. And so let's think of this little jar, this little bowl, as representing your relationship. And the coins that are in it represent the joy in your relationship. And every time you have an interaction and the interaction leaves you feeling just a little teeny bit better or a whole lot better than when you started, you make a deposit. And the idea is to fill this bowl up with the good parts of your relationship. And so you want this to be an overflowing bowl full of happy emotions. And in that case, your relationship is going to probably do very well. Now, when something negative happens and they don't respond to you in a way that makes you feel better, you walk away feeling a little bit worse, a little bit hurt, somebody just snarls at you for no good reason, well, then you get to take a withdrawal out of the pile of happiness and remove it. But you don't just do one, you need to do 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the negatives have a lot more weight than the positives. So for every positive interaction, you get to drop in 1. But for every negative, you subtract 5. And the goal is to fill up your relationship with happiness. So that means that if you have a negative interaction with somebody that you have a relationship with, be it a business relationship, a friendship, a romantic relationship, whatever, if you have a negative interaction, that means in order to keep the equilibrium, keep the relationship going at least the same level, you now need to have 5 positive interactions to make up for it. And you really need to have 6 to keep moving forward and to build that relationship into something that blossoms. So if you and the person that you're in a relationship with can keep this in mind and work hard to fill up that jar with positivity and support each other, your relationship will likely grow and thrive and last the test of time. I hope you found that interesting and useful, and I hope that you can implement these ideas into your relationships so that they can grow and flourish and bring you the happiness and joy that you're seeking. If you like this kind of content, I would appreciate, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel. And if you choose to subscribe to the channel, I'd also suggest that you click that bell icon for notifications so you're notified when new content comes down. Thanks for tuning in and watching this episode. I do appreciate your support and hope to see you again soon.